My name is Adam Braun, and I'm the founder of Pencils of Promise.
Great. And Adam, how do you define achievement?
How do I define achievement? I think of achievement as accomplishment that exceeds the ordinary. That would be my narrow definition of achievement. It's something that an individual or collective group can accomplish that goes beyond the norms that other people come to expect.
Adam, tell me about your background.
So I was born in New York, middle child, older brother, younger sister. Grew up in Connecticut, about an hour outside in the suburbs. And by the time I was in high school, we actually ended up taking in 2 more boys from Mozambique that are my older and younger brother. And I was really interested in working in finance my whole life. And so I started working at hedge funds, and I was fund of funds, just financial institutions when I was young. But when I was 21, I went into the developing world for the very first time, and I had a series of life-changing experiences. The most powerful of which was, well, there were 2. One was I was on a cruise ship that was hit by a 60-foot rogue wave, and so I had a certain death experience that gave me a sense of purpose, because I survived and I knew I was going to survive. And then the second was meeting a young boy begging on the streets in India, who I asked if he could have anything in the world, what would he want? His answer was a pencil. And so just realized how many kids live without any access to education, nor quality education. Traveling through India, I met a boy begging on the streets who I asked if he could have anything in the world, what would he want? His answer was a pencil. And so I gave him my pencil. He just lit up, and that led me to start passing out pens and pencils as I backpacked through dozens of countries and become really committed to the education issue of having 57 million children without access to education, another 250 million without access to quality education. And so eventually moved to New York City, where I started working at Bain & Company, and then started my organization, Pencils of Promise, on the side of my job with $25, and now it's built more than 200 schools around the world with more than 20,000 students learning in our programs every day. My dad would say to us before we'd go to sleep every night, my last name is Braun, and he would say to us, remember, Brauns are different, every night. And he wasn't trying to say that we were better than anybody else, just that we should hold ourselves to a different standard, oftentimes to a higher standard. And that was used both when we wanted stuff that other kids had, you know, like, hey, my friend got paid for his grades and I got straight A's, can I get 20 bucks or something? And my dad would say no. I'd say why? He'd say because Brauns are different. And then at the same time, if a kid was being bullied in school and I stood up for that kid, I'd come home and I'd tell my dad what happened. He'd say, you know why you did that? I'd say, why? He'd say, because Brauns are different. And so he started to instill a system of values in us to just not abide by the norms by which other people view society. And ultimately that led the life path that I've now lived.
Now, why did you parent adopt 2 children from Mozambique?
At the time, they were in a really rough situation. They both had, they're actually not siblings, they're just childhood friends. And they have families back home in Mozambique, but they were duped into a false American education. So it was actually a fake school, and they were in a bad situation, and we got to know them, got close with them, and they asked my parents if they could attend my public school that I went to. And the only way for them to attend the public school was for our family to actually take them in fully. And so it was a family decision. A lot of the weight was on me personally, because I was a senior, rising senior, and so I was going to have to tutor them, I was going to have to chaperone them, I was going to have to assimilate them. But they were just such incredible kids and just exuded so much integrity and just great spirits, and so it was a no-brainer, and so we took them in. Now, about 13, 14 years later, they're my brothers. I mean, there's no other word to describe it. It's my 2 brothers, and they both have 2 kids, which are my nieces and nephews.
That's amazing. So, duped into a false American education, what does that mean?
So they were recruited as basketball players. They both played on in the Pan-African basketball games from Mozambique, where they're from. And an American coach saw them and basically told them, hey, I can get you into a good school if you can scrape together a little money. And they came over, and it actually wasn't a quality school. It was one room in the back of a rundown church in South Philadelphia. A woman came in and passed out books and left for the day. I think that people genuinely pursue profit because they think that profit will unlock happiness. And on the other side, you have what I call the for-purpose space, which is about service to others. And those people go into the space thinking, I'm going to live in service of somebody else. And what they find is that they actually discover meaning. And through meaning, they unlock happiness. And so it's really a matter of motivation. And I think the counterintuitive part that most people are starting to now see is that you actually don't have to sacrifice one for the other. You can have both success and significance in your life. But the primary driver from what I've witnessed is significance. Derive purpose first. And through the pursuit of purpose, if you are genuine to it, and if you discover a purpose, you become unstoppable. And within that notion, you find success.